2020 has been a funny old year for Manx Radio, and probably for quite a few of the rest of you. Whilst the world around was going into lockdown, the island's national broadcaster suddenly found itself with its highest listening figures since announcing the end of the last war, albeit slightly late. Proof positive where proof needed that when there's no sport, no theatre or public entertainment of any sort, pubs and restaurants are closed, shops are closed, schools are closed. No one can go on holiday, sing in choirs, meet friends or relatives, go to cinemas, meet in social gatherings of any kind anywhere, and aren't able to go to work or in fact leave their house. They will listen to Manx Radio for minutes on end of their own free will. But of course, all good things must come to an end. And after several weeks getting used to actually having people listening, sadly the situation on the island improved. Lockdown was eased and listenership returned to what in broadcast terms is referred to as its Static Accepted Digital Demographic Order, or SADOs. Let's help boost that number now by at least one by dropping in on the early news smorgasbord known as Breakfast, which mixes carefully crafted 45-second news packages and camp 80s pop classics to chilling effect. This morning its listeners are reading from the news that TT 2021 has been cancelled. The first time the event has been cancelled since last year's cancellation.
So I hope you understand that we have not only taken the decision to cancel the TT with heavy hearts, and after long hours of intercourse, it will of course be back in 2022, when it will be taking place at the same time, probably with lots more things, but of course far fewer scouts. And now we move on to questions, and first up it's Paul from, well, nowhere really. Good afternoon, Paul. Faster mind.
How can you stand there and say, good afternoon, Chief Minister? It's beyond me when you know that this afternoon's anything but good, far from it. In fact, by many on the island, it will be regarded as a complete disaster, and they will feel that they're being sold down the river by you and your colleagues in Comin, who've shown a complete lack of concern for the thousands on the island whose livelihoods depend on the TT, and without which they will...
I'm sorry, Paul. We seem to be having some problems with the line there. I think you were saying that we have deep concern for those who depend on the TT.
I wasn't, Chief Minister. I was, in fact, saying quite the opposite. A lack of concern for those whose livelihoods have been completely ruined,
well,
I would say.
You're absolutely right, Paul. We are deeply concerned for those who aren't civil servants.
You're not, are you?
It's
a case of bother you, Jack. I'm all right.
I'm sorry, Paul, but if you insist on talking over me, I'm afraid we'll have to cut you off and move on to Jeff the Phoenix.
No, you won't. You're not paying them to attend at the moment. You remember, isn't it about a time you did the honourable thing and resigned?
Well, Paul,
I'm not taking this lying down.
I'm sorry. I think you're saying your line is down, Paul. So we'll move on anyway before you get even more angry.
The Chief Minister at yesterday's media briefing talking there to Paul Moulton Brown Toiletries from, well, nowhere now, really. Of course, the Isle of Man is still struggling to come to terms with the news from the briefing that there'll be no TT in 2021. There's been reaction flooding in from fans, organisers and, of course, riders. News editor Tim Glover, no relation to the doctor who keeps tweeting how bloody upset she is with everything but never actually talks to anyone, has been speaking to George Formby.
George, what's your first reaction to this news? You're a man with an obvious love for motorsport.
One thing that I like, it's riding around on the motorbike.
Evidently, yes. So you'll be disappointed the event can't go ahead next year. Presumably there will be a financial impact, not least for the competitors who rely on it as a source of income.
I want one first prize, 2 and 6.
2 and 6, wow. A lot of money in those days. It's got to be a concern for competitors like yourself, George, missing it 2 years in a row. Will you struggle to remember the layout of the mountain course?
In a 50-mile race, I am the best. I ride 5 miles and skid the rest.
See, you've forgotten already that the mountain course is in fact 37 3/4 miles, not 50. But of course, this hasn't been an easy year for you personally. You were in fact diagnosed with coronavirus yourself, I believe. What sort of symptoms did you develop?
My ribs begin to shake about. There's all my spare parts sticking out.
That sounds nasty. So, with next year off the cards, can we expect to see you back for TT 2022? I understand you've actually called for some new safety measures to be put in place, including reversing the flow of the mountain course.
With me gears in reverse, the other way around, I'll finish first. So come along, TV
ever the joker, George Formby. Thank you very much.
George Formby talking to Tim Glover there and sounding remarkably upbeat, I thought, Ben.
Indeed, he's always a cheerful character. He's a window cleaner during the day, I believe.
Who? Tim?
No, Mr. Formby. All we need now then is some really good weather in 2022.
I expect it'll turn out nice again. But now, broadcasting online, offline, smartphone apps, Shazam, Pornhub, FM, AM, LGBTQI from Douglas in the Isle of Man, this is Manx Radio. It's 8 o'clock now, time for the news with Sean
Cowper?
That'll do.
Moramai.
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 How are you?
Fine.
Good.
You?
Fine.
Do you want the news?
Not really, but I need a wee, so go on.
The Chief Minister has denied suggestions that co-min have been taking it in turns to nominate each other for honours in the New Year's honours list. Sir Howard Quayle was speaking after a copy of the list was leaked to members of the press yesterday. It shows that Health Minister David Ashtray's award of an OBE earlier in the year for best use of scouse in a national emergency. 3 other members of the Cabinet are to receive honours from Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II High School in the new year. Treasury Minister Alfred Cannon and Ball is also to be awarded the OBE for services to creative financing during the pandemic, while Minister Dr Alex Allison Wonderland is to receive the MBE for actually speaking about health matters more often than the Health Minister during the government pandemic briefings. Home Affairs Minister Graham Craig Willies is to receive a CSE. Meanwhile, former government health advisor Dr Rachel Glover, no relation, has tweeted to say that rumours of a new Manx variant of the COVID-19 virus are in fact unfounded. After several days of research with her team, Dr Glover says she's now confident the so-called coronavirus only affects knackered old boats, making them unseaworthy. Dr Glover also tweeted to say she was very pissed off about something again, but wasn't sure what yet.
So thanks very much to our newsreader there. Now something a little bit different on today's show. Instead of me hiding in a current or retro location on the island, we're going to throw forward in time and all you have to do is guess the year. So let's have a go.
Where's Hartley hiding?
In the future. I'm stood on what looks like a beach, but instead of the sea, I can see a large lake of lava, which is slowly advancing up the shoreline. Further down the beach, I can see what appears to be the top of a statue of 38-term Chief Minister Howard Quayle, buried under the sands of time. As we all know, he went rogue after receiving the COVID vaccine. Above me, the sky is blanketed in yellow clouds in a state of perpetual storm and producing gases that, if inhaled, could kill a man in seconds. Meanwhile, winds of up to 100 miles an hour blast the few barren outcrops of rock that remain. To my left, I can see a habitation dome, populated by the last remaining vestiges of the human species. And to my right over there, there's the Terrace Chippy. In front of me there appear to be a few robots working on a construction project which many of you may be familiar with. It appears it's been delayed slightly longer than the several years we're used to, but we're promised good progress is being made. So there you go. I'll admit this might go quickly, lots of help there and not too dissimilar to the present day. So, guesses are flooding in, Beth.
Yep, tons of you having a go at trying to guess Ben's future location. The original John S. has gone for Rye Brad's Fruit Shop. No, I'm afraid that's not it. Sally from Lazaire thinks it might be Fiddling Winers in Port St Mary. No, again, you're all very stupid. And Michael from Michael, he's gone with the Pulley Tanning Salon. Now, I can see where you're coming from, but sadly, Michael, you're also in the bin. So, Ben, where were you?
Well, I think the proximity to the Terrace Chippy might have been the giveaway here, Beth, but I was actually on Douglas Promenade in the year 2389. Yep, that's right, the Earth's atmosphere has totally changed, with only a smattering of life still in existence. But like I said, good progress being made on completing the regeneration scheme, with the horse trams expected to run the full length by at least 2400.
Manx Radio.
Next up on the programme, a crack team of scientists claims to have made an extraordinary breakthrough in the field of code breaking right here on the Isle of Man. Working from a top-secret laboratory in what's been dubbed Bala-Bletchley Park, the researchers who recently received Level 1 NVQs in mucking about from UCM are said to be delighted with their discovery. Our roving reporter Mickey Ernest went to get an exclusive tour of their facility.
It's a little-known fact that Manx servicemen played a crucial role helping the Allies transmit coded messages during the Second World War.
Clandestine signals are being transmitted across the battlefield by these brave Isle of Manish men in what's being heralded as Norse code.
Hey Christ fella, them funny Kaiser fellas will be over the cairn at us in no time short of the matter. Best keel ahead and out of them proper.
What's he saying?
He's saying the Germans are advancing. And something about smoked fish.
And decades later, the legacy of these men lives on. So I'm just in the car on my way to Bala-Bletchley Park. It's a top-secret military research facility in a classified location which I cannot reveal.
In 100 yards, turn left past Craignish and follow signs for Bala-Bletchley Park.
Oh, bollocks! When I arrived, security was tight.
Password?
No, this is Mickey Ernest from Manx Radio.
Oh, okay. Back door's open, just let yourself in.
Once inside, the scientists showed me their invention. So this looks like a fascinating device. What is it we're looking at here?
Well, that's just a kettle. This is the invention.
And can this boil water?
No. This is our Enigma Nanon 2.0 code-breaking machine.
Incredible. I'm absolutely stunned. That is something special. Thanks so much for inviting me here. It's been wonderful.
Would you like to see what it does?
Oh, yes. Yeah, that'd be great. I suppose I would, yes.
This machine can do what our scientific community previously considered unthinkable. By using advanced anti-Tommy Rotten disobfuscation technology, it can translate the jargonated garble of any Manx politician into plain English.
Surely not.
Thought you might be sceptical, so I brought along the Enterprise Minister, Lawrence Skelly.
Pastor Mike, hey boy, how you doing fella? Kissed out, won you? Not like Kennel.
Good afternoon. I am speaking in local dialect in place of saying anything useful. Please do not ask me any difficult questions.
Fascinating.
Say, Mr. Skelly, why did you cancel the TT next year?
Well, it was a difficult decision, no doubt about that fella, but you know what it comes down to is motorcycle and heritage, and the pandemic is iffy and she's causing a very significant economic and financial catastrophic disruptor effect, and as far as the TT broadband infrastructure goes, it goes as far back as to appoint Vision 9 for the DED when she became the flagship capital boondoggle for the Department of Enterprise, and then there's the Russian mines reserves and the surplus on the deficit, and of course this new agency-led approach which meant it was a very difficult decision, but one made in the best and self-interests of our e-commerce and blockchain offering.
We forgot to order enough vaccines for our citizens, and will not be able to reopen the borders until 2036.
And Mr. Skelly, will TT be back again in 2022?
Well, you see, when you're talking about the 2022 offering, then that's because you've got to bring in some real macroeconomic metrics and KPIs for that one, because you consider whether you want to consolidate and capitalise on the central auxiliary heritage brands that the department has given organic green shoots to in fintech and cryptocurrency. That's when you want to seriously consider the hyper multiplier effects of the classic TT and the festival of money making, with the quantitative easing in the short and medium long fiscal term that we've set ourselves a goal for the department to achieve as a true international special e-commerce business centre to live and work.
Warning, warning, overload, overload, bullshit, overload.
Thanks very much to Tiley on the dialy with a smiley as wily as a crocodile with pileys. And welcome to another Man in Line special. I'm Andy Wint. This is my show on what's another flume-free lunchtime. And today we're at Ballafarton Primary School to speak to Tyler and Kyle and Scott and Liam and Billy and Ashley and Bex, Chantel, Ferrari and a girl who's just been christened with the name that looks like the Apple logo. Scott, what's your favourite video game? Bob the Builder? Postman Pat?
Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus.
And how often do you play it?
Every night for 8 hours.
Why do you like it?
It's violent.
Do your parents like it?
No.
Do they try and stop you?
Yeah.
So what do you want to be when you grow up?
A fashion designer.
Gents outfits?
Lingerie.
Crikey, who wants to speak? Billy?
Could we talk about the effect on the island's partner trading options in the event of a no-deal Brexit?
No, we'll come back to that in a moment. Chantel, what's the best part of Christmas?
Mind sweeping drinks after my mum's parties.
What about your dad?
Oh yeah, I do a bit his parties and all.
Can we talk about the potential disaster looming in the island's hotel industry due to the disastrous effects of COVID-19 and an apparently laissez-faire attitude from government?
In a minute, Billy. I want to come to Ferrari next. Conkers, yes or no?
What are they?
Crikey, where have you been?
Los Angeles mostly.
Tyler, conkers, yes or no?
No. Can I tell you my views on the vast educational subculture which exists in some of the lower echelons of domestic society and what I believe is now an inversely proportional relation to parental numeracy?
Not now, Billy, because it's time for a break, and when we're back I want to discuss comics. Beezer or Beano?
It's been a tough year for many of us, and at Manx Banks we believe in such trying times you can either stand up and be counted, lie down and hope it will go away, or bugger off. We choose to bugger off. There's no point in keeping everything open just for a few oldies and small local businesses when there's better money to be made elsewhere. We're sure you'll understand. Manx Banks, island-based for island people. Just not this island.
Good morning. You may know me as Health Minister David Ashford, but what you may not know is that I make delicious butter. That's right, no breakfast table is complete without David Ashford's community spread. To avoid confusion, I must say there is currently no community spread on island, but I can guarantee there is community spread on supermarket shelves. The total number of confirmed ingredients is 3: love, milk and reagents. Perhaps I can be more specific. Community spread is everywhere. In our shops, in our homes, even in little packets as part of a full Manx breakfast. But to be clear, this is completely separate from community spread, which the island doesn't have. So go outside and pick up some community spread, the butter that is, and bring it back into the home for all the family to enjoy.
Yummy. What an infectious flavour.
To be clear once again, whilst community spread is rampant, with my other hat on I must say there is no community spread. David Ashford's community spread. Butter so good, once you've had it, you know you've got it.
Coming this Christmas from Culture Vannin. Now that's what I call Manx Christmas carols.
It's another COVID conference, blah 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 blah. Watch as Howard spouts his nonsense, blah 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 blah.
Featuring all your favourites remastered for 2020.
Oh come all ye wealthy, high net worth and dodgy, oh come register your jet planes VAT free.
A special 10 CD box set performed by the Reggae Singers.
I saw key workers sailing into Douglas Bay, popped in the shops, I called the cops, and now they're sleeping in Derby.
It's the ideal gift for a deaf relative.
Oh, NSC, oh, NSC, where the are thy water slides in Turkey, in Turkey.
Now that's what I call Manx Christmas carols. Available in all good retailers for just £2 and £6.
We all know what a pain in the ass it is to get supplies in this year. With the queues from the supermarkets and those boys in Brussels rooting and interfering, but But did you know there's a whole world of local produce on your very own doorstep? Supermarkets sold out of bog roll? There's 3 papers every week. May as well get some use out of them. Don't worry about a frozen turkey this year. This Christmas, why not try a local wallaby steak or an award-winning organic ragwort pudding? And forget your fancy AstraZeneca and Pfizer vaccines. Get a good old cold pint of blue milk in you and a slice of bonnet. She'll be right, boy. Buy Manx produce. It may be only half as good for you, but remember, it's twice as expensive.
It's the teen romance movie everybody's talking about.
Oh my god, I still haven't found a date for the prom.
Oh, Cadence, I'm sure your prom date is out there somewhere.
But where? It says here on the website that the highways works will be completed by March. Now I don't know what to think.
The story of one girl's journey.
Hey, will you come to prom with me?
Okay. But it's one way still. Summerhill's shut and Broadway and the concrete's cracking.
To make it to the prom on time.
You promised me you'd be my prom date, Baker. All you ministers are just the same.
Hey, look, Cadence, babe. These delays have been due to contractual circumstances beyond our control and nothing to do with the muss created by the previous minister in charge. Anyway, if you excuse me, I'm due to chug some cold ones with my frat bros.
This is the worst prom ever.
Overtime. Over budget.
Hey, honey, you single?
I am up to the war memorial.
Prom date. In theaters March 2021. If you're lucky.
An elderly man has been warned he could be sent to prison after flouting the island's COVID laws. Our court reporter Jason Blobberts has the story.
192-year-old Chris Kringle, whose address was given as the North Pole, was arrested after entering the island on a motorised jet sleigh. Police were called to a housing estate in Ramsey to report a red-suited man had become stuck in a chimney and had begun to shout at passing children. He was also found with a small amount of the illegal substance coke candy cane, which he said he'd been using to self-medicate. When subsequently interviewed, he answered ho 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 comment. Kringle pleaded not guilty to charges of home invasion and driving under the influence of brandy. His advocate told the court how Kringle had older relatives on the island, including a great-uncle named Terry. The court heard he was frustrated by restrictions which only allowed him to come once a year and was desperate to empty his sack. Committing him to the Court of General Jail Delivery, Deputy High Bailiff Greg Lake told Kringle he believed him, but millions wouldn't.
The Health Minister, David Ashcloud, says the arrival of the COVID-19 vaccine on the island has provided another first for the island. Mr Ashcloud was speaking after 2 trays of the Pfizer vaccine arrived in a refrigerated lorry. Speaking at yet another hastily organised government briefing, the Health Minister said the island's quota was the first to be supplied in tandem with seasonal frozen food. Mr Ashcloud says the vaccine, which must be kept at absolute zero, is currently being transported in between bags of frozen sprouts and Aunt Bessie's roasties. But this will change.
In spring, for example, the vaccine may arrive sandwiched between bags of petit pois and packs of just rolled puff pastry. Whilst in the summer, to be blunt, this could change again to, say, packs of cheap burgers and Soleros.
A carpenter's heavily pregnant wife has complained following poor service at the National Sports Centre. Mary Christ and husband Joseph had planned on booking the leisure pool at the sports complex for a water birth. The couple were left shocked when reception staff refused them entry to the facility. It's been reported they were told there was no flume at the inn. And Agarth MHK has officially opened his new restaurant in Laxey. It comes just several weeks after Martin Perkins successfully guided legislation on organ donation through Tynwald. Surprise pie, mystery burgers and vegan-friendly transplant-based options all feature on the menu of Martin's Opt Eatery on Glen Road. Marty Perkins says the establishment is people-friendly in every sense of the word and that the food is human consumption. Perfectly fit for human consumption. Mr Perkins had this to say about his new venture.
Well, it really is the people who make the Opt Eatery work in every sense. Without the support of the succulent Manx public with their tender hearts and kidneys, we couldn't do it. When they come in through the doors or to the chopping board, seats, It makes the place come alive, even though many come in, well, you get the picture.
Chief Minister, I'm afraid I have some bad news.
We've not run out of custard creams again?
No.
Bourbons? Hobnobs?
Biscuit supplies are secure, Chief. It's about these press briefings you keep holding.
But everyone loves the press briefings.
No, not anymore. Look at these figures. 9th of April, 30 new cases. 20,000 people watching. 18th of May, shops open again. 35,000 watching. End of July, level 4 borders. Everyone's going mental. 100,000 watching. Now, nothing's going on. People are tuning out. You're generating less interest than an MEA loan.
You're right. We can't just keep on coming out with the same rubbish every time.
You need something to get people interested in your speeches again.
Could we reintroduce some cases in the community?
I think that might be a bit extreme.
What if I pretend to get COVID again?
We need to think bigger.
What about a song and dance routine? Onward, great Manx public, marching us to...
Please, Chief.
Sorry.
What we need is a big event, a bit of excitement, something to bring the people together.
Yes. Do we have any money saved from cancelling the TT?
No, but you've just given me an idea.
Well, it's 4 o'clock here on Manx Radio, and you all know what that means. No, don't tune out just yet, because there's a rather special treat coming up for you just now. Today's government press conference is being broadcast live from the grandstand. Let's join the Chief Minister, Howard Quayle, as he addresses the baying crowds.
Fast am I, everyone. Are yous ready to rock? I said, are yous ready to rock? Well, you may be wondering why I have gathered you here today, but before I answer that, arriving via parachute, please welcome the Health Minister with today's figures.
Thank you, Chief Minister. The current number of active cases is...
Okay, thank you, David. Well, Great Manx public, today is the day you've all been waiting for. We are finally ready to start our rollout of the vaccine. And to prove it's 100% safe, I am going to be the first Manxman to receive it, right here, right now. Cue the music and I'll pop me shirt off.
Ladies and gentlemen, administering the vaccine today, we have former government scientist Dr. Rachel Glover. She's ready and waiting inside our Isle of Man government cannon. Dr. Glover is going to be fired out of the cannon at 150 miles per hour, hypodermic needle in hand, and deliver that vaccine straight into the Chief Minister's gorgeous and voluptuous left arm. But before that, we need somebody to light the touch paper. Please welcome the fabulous purple helmets. Here we go, folks. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Are you sure this is absolutely safe?
Don't worry, Chief. It's only a placebo. We filled the syringe with harmless silt from Peel.
What?
Oh, he's taken the jab. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Quayle, how do you feel?
I feel a little queasy.
Queasy with COVID immunity?
I'm not sure this was a good idea.
No, but Chief Minister, this DNA-altering vaccine is 100% safe.
DNA altering? I didn't realise it. Whoa!
Oh no! It's turned him into a 60-foot-high chief monster!
Smash detractors!
Chief, wake up.
Oh, David, what's going on?
You fell asleep again. Chief Minister, come on. We've got to get to a press conference in 2 minutes.
Not another one.
IM7 was written by Lex Label, New Arga, Edwina Roach and Che Vickers. It also featured Islamic Wills, Henry Table, Phoebe Pease, Acorn Wipes, Josh Noms, Shaven Rain and Tiny Wand. It was a 4 Wise Men production for Manx Radio. No animals were hurt during the production of this show, although Chris did sit on an earwig.